Oh, yes, we are live, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Bandog Talk with the Dog God. Big salute, Big J to Don. Came in early bird, hit the early bird special for that pole position. Big salute to you, Big J. And Durarecio, man, always appreciate your support, man. You already know. You know what I mean? Thank you for sliding in on a close second. You know what I mean? Tonight I gotta, man. I mean, every Thursday, man, we have a great cook up. Always something that you guys can, some good nutrition on your plate. No fillers, none of that stuff, man. All just that good organic nutrition knowledge when it comes to this dog, thing that we doing with high performance working dogs and pioneering our own dogs and doing our own thing. You know what I'm saying? So, tonight is another great cook up, like every Thursday night. And like I always tell y'all, man, get y'all notebooks ready. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a subject matter that maybe some people talk about, maybe they don't. I don't really think a lot of people talk about this. When they have these great performance dogs, and they think they can produce the same level of performance or better with those great performance dogs. You know what I'm saying? And tonight I want to talk about that, being that I'm a top tier engineer when it comes to putting together dogs, and I allow my experiments in the lab to tell me who is a top tier producer and who is a mediocre producer, or who just can't really produce. You know what I mean? We're gonna get into that and how that works and how you can experiment and figure that out. You know what I'm saying? But like I always like to tell y'all, this is of course brought to you by Formula One Canines. That is I, that is me. You know what I mean? Frames, brains, and motors. You know what I'm saying? We think about the complete dog over here. And that's why I'm the Formula One of this shit. You know what I mean? To be 1,000 with y'all. So before I get into my week, like I always do, man, get comfortable. I got my vodka lemonade. Y'all like y'all brew? Go ahead and get your, crack you a brew. Roll you up some herbal sensation. Get comfortable. We're going to, get in that classroom and just talk about this. Really dig deep into understanding how, you know, performance dogs genetics work, and how you as a dog man might not know how to put the right dog together with that high performance working dog, whether it be a male or female. You might not have enough variations of dogs genetics to be able to complement that high performance working dog to get the same or better than. I mean, not a lot of people have a you know a variety of genetics to experiment with. If you limit it on your genetic pool and you breeding with only what you have and it don't produce, you know that doesn't necessarily mean that that dog is not a great producer. you know but like I said, we're gonna get into that. Let's go ahead and cheers, man. Big salute to you guys. Big cheers, big salute. I'm gonna take my sip, and then of course I like to tie into my week, and then we'll get to cooking, man. We'll get to cooking, brothers. So cheers to y'all. Man, that was great. Okay. So like I always like to do, I like to let y'all, know what's going on in a dog guy's life, dealing with these dogs. So let's go back in time. Let's take the time machine and go back in time. 2021. So I've bought my property back in 2016. And in 2021, I get a letter from animal control, and it's about a noise complaint. Now, when I bought my property to be able to do dogs and to be able to make as much noise as I want, do what I want, have my privacy, etc. I got 6.5 acres out here on the hill. I'm positioned in a way on my property to where, because we live in the woods on a mountain, I'm like right on the corner of my hill, right? And then my neighbors are like, you know, one of my neighbors has 10 acres. I think my other neighbor has 5, but like there's nobody around me because of how I'm positioned. Like they're not gonna, well, they didn't now because I came after them. You know what I'm saying? So my neighbors, they didn't spend the money to, you know, make their hill usable. Their property is way over on some other side and where it's easy to do their land. And plus they're older and stuff like that. You feel what I'm saying? So where I'm at is undeveloped and I'm in my own space. You know what I'm saying? So, I took my hill and developed it, you know what I'm saying? And made it usable. You just see what I'm saying? They didn't, I mean, there's all woods and they ain't using that shit. Okay. But I have another neighbor that's way down the way, you know what I mean? Like further down or whatever. And then I have, more people way down the way, mile and a half, 2 miles, etc. Whatever. Long story short. So anyway, I get this letter about a noise complaint and I'm like kind of low key tripping, like, what the fuck? A noise complaint. So then I call my animal control lady, talk to her. I'm like, what's this about? Oh, we got a complaint from somebody from a mile and a half away. I'm like, a mile and a half away? I'm like, what the fuck? So I asked her what my rights are, you know what I mean? Because my neighbors that's around me, they know what I do. They know I do dogs. I'm cool with all my neighbors around me. You feel me? So they know I do dogs. They know I do dogs at a certain time. So they're not tripping, But this person from a mile and a half away is calling animal control on me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like, what am I to do? Like at the end of the day, I'm doing this at this time. My dog's only barking when I'm dealing with them. You know what I'm saying? Of course, they're excited when it's time for chow. Plus, I'm on 6.5 acres in the fucking woods. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no homeowners association. I don't do this shit late at night, early in the morning. I should be able to do what I want to do within daytime hours, right? Somebody in my animal control lady was like, you're not doing nothing wrong. I'm just sending you that warning. You know what I mean? It's not, it's just protocol, but as long as they're not just barking for no reason, you're doing that. That's reasonable. So that's that. But anyway, long story short, this particular lady, I don't know why, I've been doing dogs at my property since I moved here. And now 2021, I got this lady from a mile and a half away reporting, calling animal control on me because my dog's making noise while I'm out there dealing with them, right? In the daytime, midday, I'm out, I'm out there. Man, let's fast forward. This lady's been like calling animal control. This lady is like, that Karen term. Like this lady is a Karen, man. She get on like the neighborhood forums trying to get people who don't even care, ain't even on I'm not even on their radar to write, sign petitions against me about my dogs. My neighbors told me that, oh man, this bitch is over here. Da, 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 da. We ain't signing that. We ain't doing that. We cool. Like my neighbors is cool. But this bitch from mile and a half away is doing all this stuff, right? So anyway, long story short, this bitch been doing this shit since 2021 and up until now, right? So then I've already had animal control over my place. They do a little, whatever, courtesy check or whatever, right? They see my stuff. Okay, man, your stuff is, your kennel's the best, period, that I've seen, period. This is my animal control lady, period. Your dogs are amazing. You know what I mean? Like, we won't give you a fine. We're not taking your dogs or whatever. But of course, I have to get a kennel license because I have more than the allotted amount for the county. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm in that process, but that's neither here or there. But this particular bitch, right? So she's been doing this shit from 20. I mean, just being a nuisance, man. This lady is just a pain in the ass. So I like meet with her because one of my neighbors that I was cool with, he schedules a meeting. I meet with her and kind of tell her like, ma'am, I apologize, but at the same time, like, bro, ma'am, I'm doing my thing. I'm working. I mean, all my other neighbors is cool. I'm working from 12 to 6 p.m. I give you enough time to wake up. I give you enough time, to spend the rest of your evenings. If you at work, you ain't even tripping. You know what I mean? But obviously I don't know if you got laid off or I don't know, because of COVID, you don't work. But I figured out, the bitch is going blind and shit. The bitch can't see. So obviously she at the home now. The bitch is going blind and shit. So she miserable. You know what I mean? But I said, just, hey, I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm gonna wrap my shit up from 12 to 6 or whatever. let me do my thing. You know what I mean? And she tried to ask me if I could build me an indoor kennel. I'm like, hell no, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Why? I live in the woods. I mean, my dog's outside. I got 6.5 acres. I ain't built no inside kennel stuff. Why would I do that? But anyway, long story short, y'all, this bitch, I had like I had an incident at like 5 in the morning, man, where the dogs was going crazy, right? And it woke me up too. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So I go down there, you know, calm the incident or whatever, right? And then I get a letter from animal control or the county, whatever, animal control, I don't know what it was, but about this bitch talking about, oh, your dogs was barking from 5 a.m. to 12 p.m., which of course, of course not, right? But that's the type of bitch that I'm dealing with, the same bitch. Okay. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, right? So now it's like, now I'm sensitive to my dogs barking where it's like, man, I got plenty of land. They only bark when I'm down there. I'm normally cool with it because like that's the only time they bark. So I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? I'm clean. They can do their thing, get your little vocals out. It's fine. We're gonna do what we do. Once I'm done, they cool. That's how my dogs are. It's always been that way. But now they like pissing me off. What's good with you, Bill? But now my dogs is making me, you know, just making me upset because of that bitch. You see what I'm saying? Like making my spot hot because she want to be a fucking Karen from 1.5 miles away. You know what I'm saying? Like, bitch, you know what I mean? So I was very highly upset, right? So I was I was watching a podcast. I watch a lot of dog podcasts and dog channels and stuff like that. Um, and an OG was on there and he was talking about how he likes to go to different like dog training sessions, whether it be fox hunting, all kind of stuff, dog diving training. Like he does, he's into protection dogs, but he'd like to go to all these different trainings, right? OG, old school dog man. And he mentioned that he went to like a duck hunting dog training seminar or whatever, right? And he was with one of his old timers, and he liked to have all his dogs out there while he trained, right? But he said what he used, because he liked all his dogs to be quiet, right? He said what he used is a cattle prong or prod, excuse me. And he said he saw the old man take the cattle prod and, give that particular dog that was unruly a nice little ra-da-da-da-da, and then the dog got in check, you know what I'm saying? And so the OG was telling me, or telling, the people on the podcast, he's like, well, I went ahead, this is something, what I mean, that I did. I went ahead and bought me one. You know what I'm saying? I went ahead and bought me a cattle prod, and I freaking use it on my dogs. Now all I gotta do is show them that shit, and the motherfucker shut the fuck up, right? So I'm like, I don't want to, I'm thinking to myself, like, I don't want to do that. But now I'm sensitive to it because of this bitch. You know what I'm saying? This Karen, there's a reason why I moved out here. I moved out here to do what the fuck I want to do. I'm passionate about it, y'all. So, excuse my language, but don't excuse it because this is real. You know what I'm saying? I'm passionate about what I do. I spend a lot of time. I do what I do. I spend a lot of money on my property. I've done spend a lot of money building it out. All the shit. Like I did a lot to have my freedom on my property. And I got a female just fucking just doing too much because she's bored as fucking miserable. You know what I'm saying? Doing too much. So now I'm taking that energy out on my dogs. Right? So now I hear OG talk about this. I'm like, you know what? I'm not, like, I got a good relationship with my dogs. I allow them to be vocal when I'm down there because it don't bother me. Because I know they only doing it because they're excited, and they only doing it when I'm down there, doing what they do. Once I leave it, they shut up. That's how my dogs always do. I was never, I didn't trip about it. Now I got, I hear the OG saying what he said. I'm like, damn, man, I might have to go in and use that because, this bitch over here is making it seem like this motherfucker's, you know what I'm saying? Like my shit is just fucking, going like a siren, like a fire truck or, police sirens and shit running 24/7s. You know what I mean? So now I'm sensitive to it. So I'm like, I talked to my wife. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something that, I'm not really cool with, but, I'm going to take up what the OG said. And, I'm going to go ahead and buy me a cattle prod. And that's what I did. I bought me a cattle prod. And this week I've just been, dealing with my dogs. Live your life, dogs, man. What's the good with your family? And this whole week I just been dealing with them with that cattle prod. And, I feel bad because I you know what I mean? I know my dogs looking at me like, they're looking at me like, damn, you know what I'm saying? They do. One of my dogs, when they see it, they won't even come out. You know what I'm saying? Now I understand why their energy is the way it is, because who want to get a shot with a cattle prod, nigga? Straight up. And I had to give all my dogs a shot with that cattle prod to let them understand what that means. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I got a dog whistle as well, to where when I blow that and I shock you, you know what that means. That whistle's a warning, and then it's a shock. You know what I'm saying? So I've been doing that. But to make a long story short, I did that unreluctantly, but I did it. And it's the energy has definitely come down. I definitely see my dogs like kind of like low key in they mind, like, why? I see it in them, you know what I'm saying? Especially my older dogs. They look at me like, why? What did I do? You know what I mean? Like they really looking at me like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, this is the only time I really be barking. I'm only barking because I'm excited to see you. I'm only barking because I know it's chow time. Why are you giving me this shot? You know what I mean? So I kind of got mixed feelings about it, because before it didn't, it didn't bother me that they was doing that only when I'm down there, when it's chow time and they're in that competitive nature. And then, it is what it is, right? However, live your life, dogs. You asked, does it work? Yeah, it works. Just like the OG said, it works. I understand why it works too, because that motherfucker really that motherfucker shock. That thing, that damn cattle prod really do, you know what I'm saying, give you a nice little jolt. You know what I mean? So the dogs definitely feel it. They'll yipe. My Formula One band dogs, that boy Spartan, you know what I mean? That boy Spartan tried to bite me and shit. That's how much he was afraid of it. That boy tried to attack me. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm quicker than that. You know what I mean? I knew he was somebody's probably gonna try to fight back. He definitely tried to fight back and try to bite me, but I knew where it was coming from. So I didn't really get on his head, because I knew he was just defending himself. Like, God damn, why you hit me with that, Dad? You know what I'm saying? So, but he got the understanding of it, because when he fought back, he tried to bite it and I shocked him in his mouth. That shit got him really good. But anyway, I've been using it this whole week. I'm trying to establish this understanding that you guys have to be silent. I got a fucking Karen that lives, a mile and a half away over here blowing up the fucking animal control in the county, lying. That bitch is a liar too, man. It's just, it's just certain people, they just liars, right? She's a lying ass bitch too, just so that she can get it something to happen. You know what I mean? She can't tell the truth. She got to make it, she got to lie and make it up something to where it's like, okay, now I'm the problem, where it's like, I'm just doing what I can do I can do whatever the fuck I want to do on my land. You know what I'm saying? Like, animal control said I'm not doing nothing wrong, but you want to make it such a big fucking deal now because you over here lying. You trying to make my situation hot. You know what I'm saying? Which I shouldn't have to worry about it. All my neighbors that's close to me is cool. None of them ever called animal control. They're all cool. You know why? Because they mind their own business. They're not outside 24/7. That bitch ain't even outside 24/7, but she want to dictate shit because she miserable. You know what I'm saying? So let's say she home because she's home all day as a blind bitch. She can't do shit. She come outside, you know what I mean? When I'm out there, let's say at 2 or 3 o'clock, and you might hear faint dog bark. Mile and a half away, y'all. So faint dog barking. Oh my God, I can't hear why the dog's barking from a mile and a half away. And then you call animal control. You keep bugging the county all the time for fucking what's 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. 3 years this bitch been doing this shit. Now I gotta punish my dogs for doing nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? Now I gotta walk around like the warden or like the prison guard with the goddamn fucking shotgun or the gun over there in the top tier in the fucking tier house. When the riot goes off, get down, pow, pow, pow. I gotta walk around like that. So this week, I had to implement that to my yard just because I got a bitch, over there want to complain when I'm dealing with my dogs in middle of the day. You know what I mean? From a mile and a half away, y'all. So that's something new. That's something that I didn't want to do. But, shit, man. This like this bitch lying on me. Now it's making me sensitive to my own dogs. Now it's making me angry at my own dogs. Cause like, man, y'all gonna make that bitch lie on me again. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing nothing wrong, but you're gonna make that bitch lie on me to make it seem like I'm doing something wrong. Cause that's what she do. She just lie. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that was this week. And wasn't something that I wanted to do, you guys, but the OG was correct, man. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, man. The OG was telling the truth about it. And I still have some hard-headed dogs. So it's not an overnight shift. It's gonna be something that I'm gonna have to implement probably for maybe a month to where they finally understand it and they can comprehend, like, okay, when I see that and I understand what that means when daddy's here, then I just shut myself up. Shut up. You feel me? Like, don't make no noise. We're gonna get fed. We're gonna get, the same attention, but we can't be on the rah, 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 shish, boom, bah. We've been quiet all day, all night. Now we excited. We can't even express our excitement, because that's all my dogs is doing. They're just expressing their excitement that I'm around, and then they're competing for my attention. That's all they're doing. So I never tripped on it, because it's like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all want to bark? Go ahead. I ain't bothering me. But, the bitch over there making it seem like, you know what I'm saying, we got sirens and shit running fucking 24/7. Then she got to lie and make it more than what it is. So, when I got that little letter from the animal control, I'm like, man, this bitch is a fucking lying bitch, man. One time, then she couldn't wait for that one. You know what I mean? And that shit probably lasts like 15 minutes. I went over there, calmed that shit down. Basically, it was that time when I was telling y'all about Draca and then my girl Desire and shit. You know what I'm saying? They was next to each other and they got into a fight. I don't know why, but they got into a fight in between the kennel bars. And it was, of course, that energy is going to turn the dogs up. So then I heard all this barking and shit like that. And I went down there, fucking, toned it down. But that was like 15 minutes. Once I toned that shit down, then it stopped. The energy stopped. But that bitch had to lie to make it make sense. To get the animal control to send me a letter. You know what I mean? You got a complaint that your dogs was making noises from 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. Like, what, bitch? There is no fucking way my dogs be making noise from that time to that time, man. Hell, fuck, I would not allow it. They wouldn't do it. My wife works from home. We don't allow that shit, bitch. But anyway, that's what I was dealing with that particular woman. So I ended up getting that, and it works. Okay, so like the OG mentioned, what he saw had him go and buy him a cattle prod for his dogs. He used it. It worked. I'm using it for my dogs. I'm still, implementing it, but it's working. It hasn't, I haven't got a full understanding because I got still some hard-headed dogs. It's got to get shot multiple times. But for the most part, the majority of my dogs understand what that is, and they understand what I mean when I use it. They understand it. They understand what I expect. So then I don't use it. So I got to stay consistent with that, and hopefully everything will work out. I got another phase of that I want to implement too, because they'd like to get excited when it's time for yard. So I hopefully can implement that when it's time to do the yard time. And I go in and grab individual dogs, hopefully they'll understand when you see me with this, I don't want to hear shit, whether I grab a dog or not. And you like, oh, pick me. Y'all better not be on no fucking pick me shit. Y'all better fucking understand what this damn cattle prod is. Anyway, so if you guys have any unruly, not even unruly, I'm not gonna say they're unruly, man. You know what I mean? Like, I understand why my dogs are excited, but if you have a barking problem, okay, don't show it to the fur mommies. Okay, don't do it to them. Okay, because they're gonna get you for some. Oh my God, animal cruelty. No, they don't understand. So don't be showing it on YouTube. Don't be showing it on your gram and your Facebook. This is something that you do in privacy. I peeped the game because I was dealing with what I was dealing with. I listened to the game. He didn't even know he was giving me game. He just talked about his own experience because he's an OG. But it resonated to me just like it resonated when he saw it at that training session. An old man do that. Had all his dogs out. All of them was quiet. Couple unruly dogs. Slap, slap. Quiet. He had all his dogs. He liked all his dogs watch him train the other dogs, but he wanted them all to be quiet while they did it. He didn't want no interruptions, and all the dogs did it. So when he saw that, he got it, using his dogs. It worked. I'm like, well, shit, I guess I got to do it. So I'm going to pass that on to you guys. Get you a cattle prod. Okay? If you like me, you're not going to feel good about it, but at the same time, it works. Okay? So as long as it works, as long as your dogs understand, just like how we used to get our ass whooped, how we used to get punished and stuff when we was kids, and we still understood that our parents loved us, we understood why we was getting disciplined, your dogs will understand that as well. Okay? Just make sure you balanced. As you give them that discipline, you also give them that love and affection as well. Like, hey, I'm still your daddy. I still love y'all. But when I tell y'all to tone it down, you better tone it down. If you don't want to listen to my words, or like how I have a dog whistle, you don't want to listen to that dog whistle, you still want to test the dog whistle, then go ahead and fill this cattle prod you don't like. And trust me, they don't like that. They don't like that cattle prod. They do not like it, man. You know what I'm saying? I got dogs that snarl showing their teeth. I don't give, that's what I'm saying. I'm the dog guy. You can show your teeth all you want, man. I'll kill you. I'll kill your ass. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that cattle prod. I'll take my bare hands. You can bite me. I'll take my bare hands. I'll put you in a sleeper and I'll choke your ass out, getting bitten off. Okay? So I'm not afraid of my dogs when they do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'll take some bites, but I'm going to show you that my power and my energy is not afraid. So I understand where that's coming from, and my dogs understand that I'll still kill you, man. I'll still, if you want to take it there, I'll kill your ass. Fuck this cattle prod. But that's the relationship that I have with my dogs because I'm the alpha. I'm daddy. I love y'all, but you ain't gonna overrun me. You ain't gonna overpower me ever. You know what I'm saying? So that's a little tip for y'all. That's my week. Still, trying to understand it. Still trying to implement that. Get my dogs to understand that cattle prod. What that means is quiet. And this week, I will have to say that the volume has went down. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're getting it. You know what I'm saying? So for that lady, fuck you, bitch. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. And I'm going to do that so that whenever I do my, process for my kennel license and all that shit, I'm going to make sure, because over here, I'm going to wrap this one up. Over here, it costs $10,000 just to get what they call it's called a conditions permit just to have a kennel. So you got to pay them to give you a conditions permit just for you to go to animal control and get a $375 kennel license. You know what I'm saying? So it's like $1,300. No, excuse me, $13,000. I wish it was $1,300. It's $13,000, and they got to approve it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get approved. So this lady's over here trying to hinder me from getting my kennel license with her fucking lying ass complaints. You see what I'm saying? So, now I'm going to make sure that, when I pay for this shit, which of course I might have to pay for this shit soon, this process soon, probably, this month, got to fork over the 10 bands. Okay. I'm going to make sure that whoever I'm dealing with in that conditions permit department come over You know, come over. My wife will cook your lunch. Come sit in my beautiful house. You want to kick it by the pool. You know, come over for my session. You know, give me about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours. See my day to day. Hear the dogs. See if they're as, ridiculous as that bitch over there from a mile and a half away. Say, then go over there where that fucking stupid bitch is and see how loud the dogs are over there, so that she don't hinder me getting my kennel license. Me spending $10,000 for you guys to say, oh, that bitch over there said da 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 da. Fuck that bitch. But anyway, y'all, cheers. That's my week. You know, I always give y'all the raw, give y'all the week. But that's what you deal with, man. When you out here doing your own thing, you got your own land, minding your own business. You got people over there trying to hate. That's what they do. Old lady going blind and shit, miserable. But anyway, big salute to you. What's that? Rogue Wolf Project LLC, man. Big salute to your family. Man, let's cook, man. Let's cook, man. Let me put this in the ticker, man. Yeah, let's put that in the ticker right there, man. So tonight, episode 49. 49 episodes, man. We cooking, baby. We cooking, brother. You know what I mean? Brothers and sisters. If there's any females watching this. Tonight, being that I have as many dogs that I have currently, and also have had multiple dogs, and breeding since 2005 and experimenting, because even though we might have an idea, it's still an experiment because we're dealing with genetics. We're only assisting God. We're not God. I'm the dog God, not the most high God. You know what I'm saying? I just assist the creator. So we're taking educated guesses and then experimenting, and based off of those experimenting, which is breeding, we can understand what we can produce, right? So, every now and then we might produce or even buy a great high performance working dog. Okay. Shows the athletic ability, has a structure, has the brain. I mean, it's a complete dog. It's a great high level dogs. Okay. Every once in a while, you might obtain this dog. Now, if you're a breeder, right, you want to produce that, right? You want to keep that, what you have, whether it's a male or female, you want to keep those genetic characteristics in your program, because those dogs don't come often. They don't, right? You might have a good dog, mediocre dog, so-so dog, but great dogs don't come often. You know what I'm saying? Which is a complete dog, y'all. A complete dog. It doesn't come often. All right. So with this topic at hand, right? A lot of people think, a lot of breeders think, just because you have this great dog, and we're talking about performance dogs. We're not talking about looks over here. I mean, we're not talking about bullies. We're not talking about show dogs. Okay, we're talking about performance dogs, overall complete dogs, right? Which is hard, right? It's hard. It's harder to produce them dogs. It's easier to produce a dog to have a look versus a dog to have performance, and especially high performance. That's what we deal with over here at Formula One, high performance. That means the highest of the high level. So when you have these dogs, right, and I've had a few of them, you would hope to retain what you see in the offspring. And you guys always hear me tell y'all, when y'all doing y'all breedings and it's foundational type breedings, you need to keep the litter. You need to keep the litter. Now, I've learned this because by default, on my own, I decided to keep litters because it was something that I didn't know what I was going to produce, or it was the last breeding that I would ever have between the parents. So for me to retain the parents, I need to keep every dog out of the litter. It was by default. It was by experiment that I was able to figure these things out, what I'm telling y'all, right? About these great dogs and how, they don't always produce the way you would hope they produce, right? So through my experiments and through the dogs that I might have thought to be the better dogs, right? You watch them dogs grow. You watch them dogs perform, right? You look at their structure. You look at a wide range of things. You see how smart and intelligent they are. You pay attention to their temperament. You look at all the different drives, and you just pay attention. And every dog out of the litter is going to be different. Okay. Now, I might assess a dog from what I see, and I'm like, okay, man, that dog got everything that I like for the most part. No dog's 100%, but it's got it's in that 90 percentile. So that dog gets an A as far as what I want to see as far as a high performance working dog. Like that dog is an A. I like that. So I pay attention. I'm like, well, damn it, man. If you that I like, which might be a male or a female, but because it's a male, if I breed you male to this bitch that I like, I should be able to produce the best of both of you in your offspring. So then you experiment like I've done, right? What I see as the best, and then I take a female that I see as the best and I breed them together, and then you would hope, right? So in the beginning stages, right, when you do this stuff, and when I've done it, I would only keep a male and a female in the beginning. And based off of my picks, I would just hope that those picks that I picked will demonstrate what I was hoping to see from the two parents genetically, right? And what I've learned, and which we all learn when you experiment in the lab, like what I'm talking about, I take two great dogs and I only kept two dogs, a male and a female. And, just so happens that the female turned out high performance and the male turned out mediocre. But I was seeing things as puppies where I picked out the dogs. And I'm like, okay, you're going to be that one. You're going to be that one. And it just so happened I lucked out on the female and didn't luck out on the male. And good thing for me that I had a lot of friends who wanted a piece of that litter. And I had a friend of mine who has been asking me for a male. And that male that was my keeper at that time, I saw and I liked the way he looked, but he didn't have that, they didn't have that rah-rah like his sister had. And I was looking for that rah-rah. I was at that time. So I told my partner who wanted him, like, like, I really don't want to sell him because he's still young. He could pop, but you offering me what I was asking when he was a young pup. So fuck it. I sold him to my partner, right? But I only had one dog out of that. I always wondered what them other dogs was like, I always wondered like what those other dogs was like, right? Now that was just one breeding between two dogs. That's it. That's not the best male dog to multiple different best female dogs. That was just what I had to breed with. I had a female dog and I had a male dog. My best female dog I had and my best male dog, I bred them together. Okay. So then I couldn't really assess if, let's say, that male and female would be a great great producers, both of them. I couldn't assess it because I didn't experiment enough. I wasn't in a lab cooking enough to assess if I bred this top tier dog with that dog, would it produce that? If I breed this top tier dog with that mediocre dog, would that produce what I'm looking for? If I breed this top tier dog with that poor dog, I didn't experiment. And a lot of dog men who don't have the genetic variety, they don't have the DNA variety pack like the dog God has. They might breed to whatever they have, and they're not producing the same or better. They're not producing the same as the sire or dame as far as performance-wise, right? High performance-wise, complete or better. So then they wonder, like, damn it, man, like I got these dogs, but I'm not getting what I see. Now, it could be two things. It could be that dog that is a top performer can't pass on his genetics. It just might be a spiritual thing for the dog. If you guys understand dogs the way I understand, that's why I'm a dog guy. If you understand dogs the way I understand dogs, it's not just the way the genetics build the body to be able to perform. It's the spirit in the dog and the mind in the dog that makes that dog a high performer. It's not just the body. So that dog might pass on his body, but don't pass on his spirit and his mind. Okay? That's a part of this. That's a part of this. But at the same time, as a dog man who's in tune with his dog, it's our job to bring that spirit out, to develop that spirit in that dog, in the mind of that dog. A lot of dog men don't know how to do that. I do, though. But a lot of dog men don't know how to do that. So they'll have a dog that is really great, but in his spirit and his mind is mediocre because it's not being taught how to be great. It's not being encouraged mentally to go the extra mile because its leader don't show him that or her that. So they get dogs that they think ain't shit, but the dog is really the shit. But you can't bring it out of the dog because that's not who you are. You don't know how to tune a dog up. Okay. But a lot of times you get these dogs and they don't have it in them. Some dogs just don't have it in them mentally. Like they don't have it mentally to take it to the limit and be smart enough to not blow themselves up, but still max out, to understand their body, to understand their abilities. Some dogs don't understand that. That's fine. But if you're limited in your DNA pool and you're breeding to whatever you got and not producing, well, the mathematics genetically is the reason why you're not producing the same as the parents who is top tier or better. Your genetics ain't matching. That happens, man. Whether you see a top tier dog that you like and you got two top tier dogs, but you breed them together, their genetics don't mesh. Maybe your dog that's bred super tight, right? You bred a dog super tight. It's limited on his gene pool, but the spirit in that dog makes that dog. The mind of that dog makes that dog. That dog happens to be a top tier representation of its limited genes. You mix it with another dog that has limited genes, but its mind, understand this, its mind, its spirit makes its limited genes and its performance ability top tier. What you see, you breed them together. Guess what? Those limited genes comes with that limited genes, and then the offspring is limited. It's limited. They don't got the spirit of the mom and the dad. They don't got the mind of the mom and the dad. So you produce mediocre shit. How would you know this? How would you understand this? Well, the only way you understand this and know this is if you've done multiple different type of breedings with different type of females or different type of males. Whether you might have had, let's say, a so-called cur or a so-called weak bitch or so-called weak male, whatever, right? But the genes that them dogs have are exceptional. But let's say the spirit and the mind of them dogs is not of the tier that you want to see. Right? But again, you got to understand what you're seeing in the dog. You need to understand what genetics is in the dog for you to comprehend what I'm telling you. So then fast forward to my understanding when I decided to keep dogs because I wanted to see what all of them were. I didn't want to assume what a puppy was. Oh, this puppy's going to be the best one. Oh, this 8-week puppy is the one I want. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to let the dog show me. So I did breedings. I kept litters. I seen genetic variance in every puppy. I seen my influence on the puppies. My influence on them. I seen that they all, even though they're different, wanted to mimic me. I've seen they all watched each other and competed. So I'm like, okay, even though you're not as, let's say, powerful in this, or you're not as fast in that, or you're not whatever, right? I'm seeing the variance, but I'm seeing the spirit in them. I see the mental space, the smarts, all of them is like, I see them like trying to be the same. They're feeding into what I represent. So for me, I'm looking at the variants. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to breed freestyle. I'm going to breed this particular male or that male, whatever, to all these. I'm just going to breed them all to different, variances of different genetics, and I'm going to let the production speak for themselves. I'm not going to assume shit. I'm not going to say this top tier dog has to produce because it's top tier. And that fucking weak bitch or that weak male, I'll never breed him because he's fucking trash. You know what I mean? I don't see my dogs as that. I see them as genetic variances. Your dog is what you make it. If it has great genetics, your dog is what you make it. Okay. A lot of people, like I said, dealing with these dogs, they don't know how to instill greatness in their dogs. They don't understand that part. They don't understand the conscious mind of a dog. They don't understand the spirit of the dog. They only understand what they see. Right? Oh, if the dog is fucking rah-rah. Oh, if the dog is intense. Oh, if the dog got drive. That's all they see. They don't see what the dog has in him or in her. I do though. So because I'm in a very experimental stage, because I really want to produce better. If I'm Formula One, I have to. Every time I cook up a dog, they have to be better than what their parents were. That's why we've talked about hybrid vigor and why it's so important for us who make high performance dogs. We're not breeding for consistent looks. We're breeding for hybrid vigor. If you want high performance, you breed for hybrid vigor. Okay. If you want show dogs that all look the same, you can do all that inbreeding shit all you want. Okay. That's what you do. If y'all want to do that, do it. But if you're trying to compete with somebody like me, Formula One, you're trying to have dogs that are exceptional. Every generation, every breeding, they get better and better. There's a method to it, y'all. Okay. And when you have these great dogs who, let's say, don't produce for you, well, there's methods behind that. You have to go back to the lab. Maybe like I said, your genetic pool isn't broad enough where you can go ahead and match the dogs with the right dogs. Match them. Maybe you try to inbreed too tight because, that's what you think makes the best performance dogs. That's what you think because you ain't in the lab cooking, right? You ain't in the lab comparing. I got this highly inbred dog. Man, I'm not really, it's cool, right? When it's cool, you get kennel blinded because, you following what you think you know about cooking up dogs. They got to be pure, and they got to be tight, and they got to be inbred, because that's what you heard, not what you assessing, right? But if you in the lab as an engineer, like the dog god is, right? You in there experimenting, right? You creating. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's try this. Let's try that. Did it get better? No. Let's try this. Did it get better? No. We're not trying to stay in a box because other people used to do it because that's all they was limited to, right? You think about the old timers in the 70s and the 80s and shit, they don't have the information that we got. They didn't have the money that we had. Let's say it was dope dealers or fucking rich people, whatever. There's just regular good old boys. You think they had the DNA variety pack that we got or the options that we got to make our dogs? The information that we have? No, they don't. They just, whatever they had in their little area, that's what they bred to. Right? And that's the dogs that they got. They couldn't just go, okay, I'm going to go over here to fucking Asia and get me some DNA. I'm going to go over here to fucking New York and get me some DNA. I'm going to go over here to South America and get me some DNA. They didn't have that option. They only had whatever was in their little area. They cooked with that. Whatever came out, came out. On the other hand, we have options. We can really take different, it's like us going to your favorite restaurant and you got or your grandmother or your mother who know how to season up that chicken or season up that, whatever they season is just everybody got their own unique recipe and seasoning. That's the same thing with dog genetics. Not every dog is bred the same. Not every dog man know how to cook up high performance working dogs. Not every dog man understand what that looks like either. When you limit it on what you see in. If we can see all the dogs, high performance dogs all over the world, I'm sure as dog man, our minds will be blown. Like if we seen what they was cooking up in Asia, or what they was cooking up in the UK, or what they was cooking up all over the world, right? High performance dogs, Turkey, wherever. And we were able to see these dog men cook, and we get to see their dogs, we will be amazed. I know I would be. I know I would be. I'm like, yo, you did that? You did what made like I'll be so curious because that's how I am in the lab. I'm curious in the lab, my own lab. So I'll be so curious, like, whoa, what made you think of that? Like, how did you why would you take this dog with that dog? And like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not stuck in a box. I'm not one track mind. I'm not a one trick pony. I'm in my lab. I've learned by like trial and error. Okay. So when we talk about great performance dogs, because I was never really on the inbreeding, and I have nothing against inbreeding, but I was never on to that. Like I have to inbreed my dogs. I have to make pure dogs. Y'all know I got multiple different breeds. I mix up different breeds. I do that. I got my own line of pit bulls. I added another line of pit bull. Like I do that. So I never was into that. I stumbled upon hybrid vigor based off of because of what I wanted to do as Formula One canines. I wanted to create. I want to be an engineer, a dog engineer. So I didn't limit myself. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't look at like, okay, I can only take this bloodline and breed to this bloodline, or I can only take these dogs and only, I didn't think that way. I always thought outside the box. But it wasn't until I decided to keep litters. And then, for example, I took a dog that my boy AK, and I bred him to littermate sisters. From the Bandogs to my pit bulls, okay? And I saw the genetic variance of each sister. The dogs are different. The sisters are different. The puppies came out different. But for me, right, to say AK, for example, right, who is not an inbred dog. He's an outcross, okay? So his genetics is broad. He got a broad range of genetics. He's a production of hybrid vigor, right? So there's no concentrated, okay, you're going to for sure get this. Nothing in him is going to tell you, oh, you're going to for sure get this. However, certain dogs can produce themselves. Not every dog can, but certain dogs will. The only way you know this is you take them to multiple different bitches. And if you see that dog in them puppies. And with the chopper, right? The bone, aka the bone crusher, AK-47 chopper, aka the bone crusher, that boy produces himself. Like he put his signature on anything that I put him to. He has got his signature on him. That's just him. That's just AK. That's him. Now, the only way I would know this, you guys, is I did what I did, which is bred them to the same genetic pool, but littermate sisters, whether they were small, whether it was big, whether it was game, whether it was not. I just bred them to it. That's, we're in the lab, baby. And then I learned through that, right, that of a smaller bitch, my smallest pit bull bitch, 35 pound, tiny, can produce a big fucking bitch. Excuse my language. But a big bitch. I would have never thought that big bitch would ever come out of my little 35 pound bitch, Tiny. But guess what? The genes is in Tiny, even though she's small. There's bigger dogs in her bloodline too. She just happens to be small. But imagine if I was like, oh, that bitch is a runt. I don't want that bitch. You know how most people do. Oh, she ain't the one. I'm going to give her away. I'll let her go for the low. Well, Tiny done produced me some serious dogs. Tiny has. Shout out to Tiny. I would have never thought that. visually that bitch Tiny will produce me some fucking next level dogs. Okay. I bred Tiny the cowboy and got a bitch. I named her the Pink Piranha. That's what I named her. That bitch is tearing shit up. That bitch is tearing shit up. She alpha bitch. She tearing shit up. And she a pretty bitch too. Pretty bitch. So pretty. Pink Piranha, what I named her. But then that bitch is tearing shit up. Smart, just like her mama, but tearing everything up. She the alpha, tearing everything up. I already know she gonna be a bad bitch. I already know it. She a bad bitch right now. She young. I can see her developing her shoulders. She got the shoulders, man. She got the rears, man. She gonna be muscled out. She got the mouth, I mean, everything got. She pretty. She pink. She got the pretty ass eyes. But man, that bitch is a piranha. Bitch tear shit up. That came out of Tiny, man. Tiny producing that shit. Tiny with AK. I got a bitch named Peaches, the smallest of AK's daughters, but she the savage. She tearing all of them up. She'll tear all the AK sisters up. She'll tear all the, and I got some serious sisters too. They ain't no bitches now. But that bitch Peaches, she tearing them all up. That came from Tiny. How would I know that Tiny, the runt, the one that my wife saved, right? She only was kept by default because I'm keeping all my genetics. Remember, I was telling y'all that. I breed her to multiple different dogs and she producing heat. She producing heat. But what I would say that what I say Tiny's my most impressive high performance dogs. No, she's not. She'll get ran through by her sisters. She ain't no bitch, but she'll get ran through by her sisters. That's how my wife saved her because she was getting ran through as a puppy. But that bitch is a top tier producer. That bitch done produce me some serious dogs. Big salute to you, Show Enough. That bitch done produce me some serious dogs. She's not a great producer though, y'all. Excuse me, I'm sorry. She's not a great performer. She's smaller. She's not as rugged as her sisters. She's not as strong. She ain't no bitch. But she'll get man, especially by spirit, she gonna get manhandled by spirit, man. Spirit will kill that bitch. Her sister, Spirit, she'll kill her. But at the same time, Tiny, whatever's in her genetic makeup, when I cook her to AK, I even cooked her to my boy, Big Boy Prophet, my biggest bully, which is crazy. I did it, but I just wanted to put a motor in my biggest double XL bully Prophet, and I did. I got Black Girl out of that. Actually had two puppies. One was a male. He was too big. You know what I mean? Like that motherfucker came out and it was like hard for her to push it. Like that was a breeding that I should have did a C-section. So that first male was huge. It was a blue one, came out and he was huge and he died because it just took a long time for him to come out. So he died. And then she had like a smaller one, which is my girl, Black Girl or whatever, which I have, shout out to her. I produced some dope ass puppies off of her too. But that comes from Tiny though. So it goes back to, you think that great producer, right? Excuse me, that great performer, apologize for that. That great performer that you got that checks all your boxes and it's just that dog for you. It's like, oh, this is a dog. You think that dog is going to produce itself. You really think that. You keep it, you like it, you breed it. And then because you limited on the dogs you breeding, him or her too, you're not producing what you want. You wonder why, And like I told you, there's a couple reasons why. Well, the first reason is that you should keep all the dogs off that litter. That's the first reason. Second reason is that maybe you didn't breed that dog to the right genetic combination. Not just what you see, but if you're really serious about these genetics, you need to breed it to every single dog that you have in that gene pool that you like. If you got a gene pool that you like, those genetic characteristics, you breed that particular dog, whether it be a male or female, to all those. So let's say you had a bitch that's fucking top tier. You're like, oh, this bitch is the shit. And you got a litter of, whatever. You got 3 males out of a top tier genetic litter that you like. And they're all variants, They're not all the same. They're not all performing the same, but you got them. What you do, who cares of what you see out of them, as long as they're not retarded, real talk, as long as they ain't got no genetic defects, okay? You take those 3 males and you breed it to that top tier bitch, and then you let the offspring show you who's the best producer. That's what you do if you're serious about this shit. That's how we do it when we're the best at what we do. We don't assume shit. We not God. I don't assume no more. By default, I don't assume anymore. I would have never known that Tiny would produce the way she do. All her sisters produced, but I would have never known that Tiny would have did. Tiny would have been gone just because she was smaller and she was getting ransacked by her damn siblings. I would have let her go for the low. I've done it before. But it just so happened that, I told you, like I said, I was at that point where I'm keeping genetics. That was the last breeding I was doing with her parents. I'm keeping every dog. I blessed my family member with one, but I kept all of them. And voila. And the same thing with my Bandogs, right? When I created my first Bandog recipe, I kept them all. I gave one. I blessed my kennel partner at the time with one. You know what I mean? He didn't even know what I blessed him with. I just, just the type of nigga that I am. Here you go, man. I'm gonna bless you one, man. Just like I bless him with that. Here you go. I'm gonna bless you with this, man. You don't even know what you got. But anyway, I kept the rest of them. And I'm seeing the variance of how they produce. You know what I'm saying? Now, I haven't fully experimented with them, but I've bred them all at least one time. Okay. So I'm seeing genetic variances between the sisters. I'm seeing genetic variances between the males. And the only way I would be able to see that is that I have them all to experiment with. And then I let the production speak for me. Like, okay, well, damn it, man. I would have never thought you would produce like this, but damn, your fucking offspring is killing it. I gotta cook, I gotta use you more. What if I throw, this into you? Will you elevate that? What if I throw that into you? We elevate this? And then that's where it gets fun. At least for me. So I never assume that a dog that I see that is performing at a high level that I like is going to produce what I see and what I like. I don't ever assume that shit. Not anymore. Not anymore. I go in the lab, I draw them up, and if I have a genetic pool that I can pull from, I take it to all that. I go into everything. Long as it's not retarded, the dog, right? As long as it don't have no genetic defects that I can see, whether you timid, whether you got the fire and desire, whether you small, whether you big, I'm cooking you up. I'm cooking you up because I'm believing in the genetics. I'm believing in the genetics that's in you, DNA. I'm believing in that. Whatever's in your spirit is you. Whatever's in your mind, that's you as an individual dog. However, I'm believing in the genetics. So when I cook, I would love to be surprised that, wow, I never knew that you would produce me a dog like that, like this, like that. I never knew. I'm glad I didn't assume. I'm glad I bred you. And even when I had an American Bulldog that I bought that was, I mentioned this in previous episodes, man. I had a dog that I bought when I was into American Bulldogs. I was going to start breeding American Bulldogs. I bought 3 foundation females. And one of the females that I bought as a puppy, that bitch was real skittish. And because I was, I had a lot of dogs, I was just like, she turned me off because she was always skittish when it came to me and my wife and shit. And I just kind of turned me off. Like, bitch, why? I feed you. I never beat you. Bitch, what's going on? So I just assumed that I just threw it to the genetics. Like, man, maybe her genetics is just fucked. But I bought her from a top tier American Bulldog breeder. I spent top tier money for that bitch. It was like $2,500. That's the top of the tier for American Bulldogs. She was a beautiful fucking American Bulldog though, y'all. Beautiful bitch. However, her temperament was horrible.
So I just like whatever. Like she turned me off. So I had a dog in my genetic DNA lab, okay, that I had on ice that I got some semen, some straws off of that was on that rah, like too much, too hot. And in my lab notes, I figured that I can balance the offspring off. If that bitch is fucking timid, then this guy's overkill. I should be able to get somewhere in the middle. So I still was gonna breed her. I wasn't gonna be like, oh, this bitch is fucking skittish. I ain't gonna breed the bitch. Nah, because I believed in her genetics. I paid money for it. I wanted to see it. I had some semen I spent a lot of money on. I have a dog that I've never had a chance to witness. As an older dog that I was a fan of. Okay, was able to buy semen off the dog. Okay, that I was a fan of. The breeder told me that dog was too hot. I was like, okay, because I'm Formula One. I like them hot dogs, but I like them balanced. So I'm like, okay, this fucking skittish ass bitch, I should get somewhere in between. But unfortunately, the bitch had palametra. I had to put her down with my puppies in her. So I took a whole L off of that shit. That was a big L. It hurt, but it is what it is. That's what happens. But that was my whole philosophy in my notes. I know what I mean? Like, I'm like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not assuming. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds good when you talk about it. That dog ain't gonna produce shit. Look at that dog, skittish as fuck. That dog ain't gonna produce no good dogs. Oh man, that dog is top tier. That dog's gonna produce the best dogs. How do we know? How do we know? Did you breed that bitch? No, I fucking gave her away. No, I called the bitch. I called the male. Oh, well, I guess you would never know, huh? Well, I'll never breed them dogs. Okay, well, that's you. That's you. That's you. But like I said, if you're serious about your craft and you understand your genetics that's behind that dog, if you understand the genetic makeup and understand that every dog and every human, everything that has life that can think and that's living has a soul and a mind. Okay? If you're weak in your soul and in your spirit and you're weak in your mind, then you're probably a weak dog. That don't mean your genetics is weak. You came from top tier dogs that wasn't weak. That just means that spiritually you not weak. Excuse me, spiritually you weak. Mentally you weak, but your genes are still top tier. So that doesn't mean that soul and that mind that goes into your offspring is going to represent you. Like, that's real. You only understand this when you're in the lab cooking. When you see that you got, let's say, 2 weak ass dogs with top tier genetics and they produce fucking phenomenal fucking offspring. They are phenomenal. You like, what? But it's not what to you, right? You say what until you understand what. You're like, what? How did that happen? But then you think about, well, damn, look at your fucking bloodline. Look at your lineage. There's all kind of top tier dogs in your lineage. It might have skipped your parents, but the lineage is still in there. It passed on to you. I couldn't believe it. So don't judge a book by its cover, you guys. Don't judge a dog by just what you see. Okay? Especially when you in the lab cooking. Okay? If you're not broad in your range when it comes to your dog cooking, you're going to be, what they say, lost in the sauce. But if you're broad in your range, you understand how much depth it is to dog DNA and dog genetic characteristics, cook it all up. Let the offspring show you. Let the genetics show you what it can produce. If you're cooking top tier genetics with top tier genetics, you should get some top tier offspring. You should get some. Now, that doesn't mean that it's always going to happen, because you might breed 2 dogs that genetics don't click. That happens too. That happens. That doesn't mean the dogs can't produce, though. You have to experiment with other dogs with top tier genetics to find which genes click. That's a fact. You have 2 handsome, or a handsome man and a beautiful woman, they produce an ugly ass child. They produce mediocre and ugly children. You're like, wow, damn, their parents is beautiful. That happens. The genes don't click. You might have two smart parents and then their kid is mediocre. Maybe their genes don't click. That's a reality. It works like that sometimes. But imagine if you were able to, like the old days when you had a king and the king could, man, this one, I'm gonna pass I'm gonna sow my seed. I got, 5 wives, whatever. I'm gonna marry them sisters and shit. You know what I'm saying? You marry, some sisters. You marry 3 sisters and stuff because you can. You're a king and you have sex with all 3 of them. You have kids with them, and then you think they all gonna turn out the same, but maybe not. They came from top tier parents, but you got some kids that's better than the others. Only way you would know that is breeding with the whole gene pool. You like the bloodline. You like the sisters. You say, I want to marry all 3. I want all 3 of y'all. I want to have kids with all 3 of y'all. I like your parents. You know what I'm saying? You can, I feel my kids is going to be, even better based off of the, my bloodline and my ancestors and your ancestors and bloodline. So, man, let me get all 3 of them. I want all the sisters. Then you make kids with all of them, then you see. That's how it needs to be with the dogs if you're really trying to see if your great performers are great producers. That's the only way you're going to see. If you do it any other way, you're limited on what you're going to be able to produce. And we're talking about high performance dogs, frames, brains, and motors, complete. Also, the bonus to it is got to look good. You know what I'm saying? It's got to, it's got to have that wow factor, we like to call it, that curb appeal. It's got to, what I mean? When you look at it, you got to be like, ooh, like, ooh, that dog can do something just off of what it looked like. Not that dog ain't showed you nothing, but when you see, you're like, oh, that dog put together to perform. To make a complete dog, you got to think the way we talking tonight. You have to think the way we talking about it tonight to make a complete dog. To make a high performance dog. To make your great performance dog produce the same or greater. It should produce better. But if it's the same, we ain't mad at it. Like, you know what I mean? If I produce another AK, I'm not mad at it. I'm not. However, that's not my goal. I have to produce better than him. And it's not based off of size or looks. It's based off of performance. For me, can I add more to who AK is performance-wise? Of course, I'm good at what I do as an artist, but I got to make sure that they look good. But at the same time, the performance part of it for me is the most important. Can I increase the drive? Can I increase the smarts? Can I increase the speed? Can I increase the ability? Can I increase the intensity? All those things is in my mind when I'm cooking up dogs. But because I have a broad gene pool to choose from, I have multiple different bitches with the same genetic profile that I can breed to, multiple different males with the same genetic profile that I can breed to. I mean, man, my variants in my cookups, I can always, oh, that didn't work, or, oh, I like that, but I want to see what this, and see what the genetics give me. And then I can later on assess, okay, you was a cool producer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen some of the things, but the averages of what you gave to the, to the litters, as far as a performance dog, I didn't see as much as I wanted to see of you in them dogs. So then I might have to say to myself, okay, that dog is a mediocre producer, even though to me, he was one of my best performance dogs ever. He just really don't, maybe his genetics don't really translate into his kids. That shit happens. Or with the female, that shit happens. It's not guaranteed. It's not. But we as dog men and dog women got to do our due diligence in making sure that we make genes or excuse me, we put breedings together that are compatible with each other to produce these dogs that we want. We have to choose the right genetics, choose the right breeding pairs to breed to. We got to experiment, man. Don't be closed-minded in your genetic cookups. Real talk. Think about it like this. We're not show dog men over here, so we're not talking show dogs, but we're talking performance. If you only had a limited amount of dogs to breed to, and that's all you did was breed to those dogs, so then, you know, your whole program is just pretty much inbreeding and live breeding because that's all you got. And let's say you competed with other dogs that's only in your area or other breeders who only had limited, you know, resources to genetics, then you're not facing the best. Like, you're not competing against the best when you're limited on your genes and the next man you competing with is limited on his genes. Like, you're not, that's not the best with the best. Sorry. It's not. If we're not mirroring ourselves to how these people who have racing teams, right? Who race motorcycles, cars, boats, whatever, they got race teams. Okay? They're not limited on their parts and the things that they use to make their cars perform better, or motorcycle, whatever, their motor vehicle, whatever. They're not limited on that. They would never excel if they were limited on that. They're not competing with people who are limited or teams that are limited on their performance parts. Everybody wants an edge so that they can be better. They can be faster. They can make their cars lighter and stronger. All this, they get the better drive, everything. They're not limited. Same thing with these dogs. If you're trying to raise the bar, you can't think limited in your mind. Like, oh, I can only use this, or I can only breed with this bloodline, I only breed with that bloodline. Sorry, you will never excel. Your program will never go to the moon. Never. Because you're limited. You're limited. Your mind is limited. Your genetics is limited. When I decided to spend that money on AK, I knew I wasn't going to find what I wanted genetically around me, where I was locally. I knew that. Shout out to the internet. As you start to follow people all over the state, all over the world, you start to see things that you would have never saw around you in your own backyard, in your own city, in your own state. You start to see things like, yo, I didn't even know they made dogs like these. Them old timers back in the day didn't have the resources that we have. You understand that? We have a way to touch the world. Right? Same thing with those multi-$100 million race companies, multi-billion-dollar race companies. They got money and they can touch any place that they want to get their fucking performance parts from. Because they got the money and they got the resources. They got the connections. Same thing with these dogs, y'all. I saw something that I never thought I would ever see when I was looking to create my own bigger, stronger, faster pit bull, performance pit bull. I saw something that I never seen when I seen AK's parents. And I'm like, I need that. I have never seen it around me. I've been around dogs. I ain't never seen that. Me. I've seen a lot of dogs, but I've never seen that. That combination between the sire and the dame, I can envision what that's going to produce. I like the dame. I like the sire. The combination, I can envision that. With that envision in my head, I need those genetics so I can add that to my shit that I already built that I like. Right? And then, of course, the rest is history for me. God is good. But I had that vision already, y'all. I wasn't in a box. My mind was not in a box. I wanted to create I wasn't listening to other people. Oh, I only breed this line of dog. Only to breed this bloodline. My mind ain't worried about what y'all doing. I got a vision. I understand what I want to see. I need that. Not like, oh, I can only breed with this because that's what everybody's saying to breed. This is popular. That I wasn't on that hype. How am I going to be a creator if I'm following old shit? I ain't following no old shit. Y'all can follow old shit if you want to. I don't live in the past. Me personally, because I can't do nothing about the past. The past is over with. Why am I living there? You know what I mean? I've had some great dogs in my day, but you know what I mean? I mean, shit, reminiscing on them. Hey, man, great dogs, but I need better. I want to see better dogs. Man, I had some great dogs, but man, this dog that I got right now is shitting on that dog I had 10 years ago. And the dog I had 10 years ago was an amazing dog, but you know, the dog that I have now is shitting on it. And that's how it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to be happy every time I produce something better. I'm supposed to be satisfied. I'm not supposed to be reminiscing on some old dead dogs. Why? I'm not doing my job as that top tier head engineer. Me. I'm not doing my job if I'm not looking at my dogs right now in my face, live in the flesh, like, yo, you are amazing. You are way more amazing than your amazing great grandfather or great grandmother. You're way more amazing than they were. I can see a little bit of them in you, but you're better. You are you. I see a little bit in it because of genetic characteristics, but I added to it. I added to who they used to be in you. So all the things that I added, I see in you, which makes you better. Right? That's a skill. That goes back to us experimenting in the lab. That goes to us not judging a dog by what it just looked like, what you just see, what you like, the performance, just judging the dog just off of that and thinking like, oh man, that dog's gonna be the best producer ever. Yeah, right. Sounds good. Sounds good. It might not be a good producer in your hands, but it probably will be one in mine. Because I'm gonna breed it differently than how you gonna breed it. I'm experimenting in the lab. You ain't gonna do that. I'm keeping whole litters and breeding one dog to all the bitches. Or keeping a top tier female and taking her to multiple males. You ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna do that though, huh? You gonna probably inbreed, line breed, inbreed, line breed, inbreed, line breed with the same genes over and over and over again. I ain't gonna do that shit. I'm a hybrid vigor, try to hybrid vigor. And if I like something that I really like, then I'll go ahead and double down on it. Then I'm a hybrid vigor. Then if I like something that I really like, I might triple down on it. I'm a hybrid vigor. That's what I'm gonna do. Because I want performance, 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 performance. That's all I want. My dogs is not show dogs. My dogs should have a variant, just like cars do, just like motorcycles do. Think about when you buy, I always use this reference to y'all. Think about when you buy your motorcycles and your cars and when your boats, whatever. Every year they add something different. It's not the same as, 2023 cars ain't the same as 2024. They got something different. Why are we trying to make dogs just be the same? Unless you're trying to make a breed type, your dogs, even in the breed type, should have a variant to it. Still should fit the breed type if that's what you want, but it still should have a variant from the other ones. If they're performance dogs, still should have a variant. Still should look like the breed type, but have a variant to what it used to be last year. That's the only way you know your dog is getting better. Okay? You might have a son that's bigger than the daddy, or you might have a son that's more muscular than the daddy, or you might have a son that's more muscular and faster and stronger than the daddy. You might have a son that got a bigger head than the daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the things that we need to see to know that, you know what, damn, every time I do this cook up and I add to it, I see what I added. I don't need it to look the same as the daddy and the mommy. I need it to fit what I envision, but show me some different features. Then every now and then, guess what? You change the body style, just like they do on cars, like they do on motorcycles, they do on boats. They change the body style. Shit get old. They change it. That's how we should be thinking with these dogs. Shout out to doing band dogs, for example. We're able to do that. We ain't got a lot to kick it. We can take different dogs. You can take family of dogs once you got the dogs you like and breed those together. You know, you can do what, do what's necessary. You ain't got to lie. Oh, this is all pure, all one breed. That's it. You ain't got to lie. I guarantee you that them guys that were doing performance dogs, I talked about this before. I guarantee you they added different breeds in their shit because they needed that vigor. They needed to add those genetic characteristics. They just wasn't inbreeding and line breeding. It sounds good. Unless that's all you got, unless you just broke as fuck and your genetic pool's just whatever. I only breed in my yard. Yeah, you was doing that shit because you was broke. You ain't got no resources. You ain't got no other dogs to breed to. So that's all you did was inbreed, line breed, inbreed, line breed. I get that. But if you have some resources, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. Hold on, let me turn that off, man. Sorry, y'all. But you're not doing that, y'all. I'm back. Real talk. You got resources. You see what I'm saying? You're going to go extend your arm out to take advantage of your resources. Because like I said, if I was able, which I was able to do due to the time that I'm living in, reach out to somebody out there in the UK, just off of fucking Instagram. If I was able back then as an old timer to do that shit, I would be doing that. Come on, man. I mean, wouldn't you? If I saw a dog that had what I was lacking, it might have even been a different breed. But I'm a breeder and I understand I'm just all about performance and shit. I'll just pick up the dog that show me what I want and look like what I want. Because that's how it does with them F1s and shit. That's what they do with them F1s. They breed it for that vigor and they breed it for whatever genetic characteristics they want. And they take the puppies out of their litter that look like the breed. That's what they do. But see, people who are naive don't understand this part of the game. And then guess what they do? Because they bring something different, they find out that these dogs is better. They find out that, like, yo, this dog is better than my old shit. My old shit is stale. I added this. I grabbed the ones that phenotypically look like what I had, because that's what them F1s, you get those in them F1 breedings. Okay. And but I get the performance that I was lacking. Because whatever I cooked in there, I added to my DNA pool. That's what motherfuckers would have done if they had the resources. Because if I keep breeding old shit to old shit, my shit is guaranteed to get stale. Period. Try it. Okay? Try it. Try to just breed to your same shit over and over again and watch your shit become stale. Watch. Make sure you have something to measure it with. Make sure you have something that you're using new shit and you're doing something more aggressive, and take your same shit and keep breeding that shit over and over. And I'll guarantee you that fucking brand new cook up mix that you're doing is going to outperform your fucking stale shit. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Old timers who was able to do this bumped their head on that, had superior dogs, didn't tell you their recipe. Why? I wouldn't tell you my recipe. Why? Who are you? I don't have to tell you shit. I'll tell you what I want. Why would I want to tell you what I'm doing if I'm beating your ass? Whatever it might be, whatever we competing in, why would I want to tell you how I'm doing if I'm whooping your ass? If my dogs is superior than yours, why would I tell you? I wouldn't tell you. I'll tell you some, oh yeah, I bred just like you, buddy. And have you over there doing the old shit and I'm over here just whooping the shit out of you. It's real. Like I said, it's real. It's proven already. Okay? They do this shit with all kind of livestock. Hybrid vigor is real. And it produces the best high performance working animal, period. Period. And that's how we should be thinking. But if you want to capitalize on your genetic pool that you was able to create or you were able to buy, you keep whole litters, like I said, and you breed your best to all of those, whatever. You got a best male, you breed them to all of those sisters. You got a top tier bitch, you breed her to all those males that come from top tier genetics that you like, regardless of what they show you. Serious, do it. And then let the offspring show you something. Let the offspring show you, like, God damn, man. Like I said, like, damn, I didn't know that, Tiny, I didn't know you was gonna produce like this. I would have never known. You would have been given away. I would have gave you away for the low because you were running. You was getting manhandled, you was getting ragtagged by your fucking siblings. But nah, that bitch is a producer, man. Shout out to Tiny. That bitch is a producer, that little ass bitch. So I just wanted to, talk about this. Us over here, we think outside the box, but we really in the lab cooking, man. We really in the field playing this. This ain't just talk. See, the dog god, this ain't talking to y'all, man. I'm talking to you guys now because I'm talking to you live from the field. I've done multiple breedings. I've done cooked up my own dogs. I've done seen all kinds of shit, kept whole litters. I got 30 plus dogs. I don't even want to tell you how many dogs I got. Too much. I got all kind of next level cookups I ain't did yet. I got my class of 2026 that I'm just amazed. These young ass dogs, I can already see the potential in them. They're gonna be turning 1. I think the last one will be 1 in September. They're still fucking young, but I see my work. I have multiple from same litters. I see it. I'm like, wow, I see how I nurture each dog's spirit. I see how I nurture their mind. I see how they nurture each other based off the packs. I see dogs that would be weaker because, they're in a certain environment. They have to be strong. They have to, because the environment makes them that way. So now it's up to me as a top tier engineer to cook them up the right way to bring the best out of their offspring. Now it's up to me to do that. But, at the same time, it's still up to me to take what I have created and make them the best of what they are. Will there be some better than the others? Of course. Think about your brothers and sisters. Of course. However, I can still make you the best you. I can say, yeah, you better at that dog, right? This dog, you're better at that. But then she or he is better at this. However, you produce good, but she produces greater. But out of the two of you, you outperform the one that produces greater than you. Only way we know that is we in the lab cooking and experimenting, man. That's the only way we know that, you guys. You know what I mean? So, like I said, do not let the dog that you see make you believe that dog's going to produce itself. Just you'll be disappointed. Letting you guys know that. You'll be disappointed because, it's not guaranteed, man. It's just not. And like I said, you might not have the ability to match the genetics right to make it pop. You might not have that ability. You really might not. So it might just miss you because your resources are limited. However, don't depend on that. Don't depend on what you see is what you get. Don't be beating yourself and expecting a nut. I'm gonna get a big nut off of it. I know how to beat myself. That's what you're doing. And then you wonder why I can't get the squeeze off. Well, you assume that you was gonna get the squeeze. You assume. But maybe, it just wasn't that, just wasn't meant to be. Then that's how it is with dogs. Because like I said, all we doing is assisting God. We not God in this. We just assisting God. God is the creator. We just taking educated guesses on genetics. And we're doing genetic mathematics in the lab and saying, okay, based off of what this dog has in the line, and I understand what I see 3 generations back at least, the probability of getting something similar or greater is high. I want greater, so I need to shoot for hybrid vigor to get greater. If I want the same and I need to compound that, then I might go with an inbreed and a line breed. If I want to compound and concentrate on that I like. But at the same time, that's not my motive. It's just concentrating and compounding. I'm trying to make what I see better. So it's an art form, you guys, this breeding thing. It's a little bit of freestyling because we don't necessarily know. But the only way we know is to cook it up. It's the only way we know. Don't assume. Again, do not assume. So, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, just going off my experience with my dogs. I definitely was surprised at certain dogs. A lot of my dogs surprised me, man. Tigress surprised me. She's a lot of my dogs. I mentioned a lot of my dogs that surprised me with their offspring. Real talk. And it's only because, I bumped my head on hybrid vigor. And then like I said, I've bred dogs, one dog to multiple dogs out of one litter. So I was able to see for myself by trial and error, experimenting. And I'm amazed at it. I'll never judge a dog by just what I see as far as what they're going to produce. I will judge it off what I'm seeing if I'm just assessing the individual dog. But based off of what they're going to produce, I never do that. Not anymore. You know what I mean? Why? I got all the data now. I got the mathematics, got the numbers. I'm like, okay, well, let's cook up the way we need to cook up to produce these top tier type dogs. Let's do it. If I can keep whole litters, keep them. If I can keep the majority of the litter, keep it. Build off of that. Let's see if we can get better just off of that. If the genetics make sense, let's keep the genetics. Keep it all in house. Cook it up. See what we got. Okay. Then offer it to the public. That way. So, but that's pretty much it, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep this one short and sweet at the end of the day. But next week, man, I'm gonna drop the link and we're just gonna do more of an open forum on episode 50, where we can just talk about dogs, make it more interactive. So I'm gonna drop the link. So if you guys want to come up, and we just talk about dogs in general. Y'all got any questions or whatever, we just kind of talk freely. That's gonna be next week, episode 50. Okay. Make it more interactive for that episode. And we can just talk dogs. What I'm saying? Whatever's on y'all mind, we can definitely chop it up and just kind of do what we do as dog men or dog women if they come up. But like I said, hopefully you guys learn something. Just don't be afraid to experiment. If you have a variety pack of genetics, don't be afraid to tap into them. Don't assume that your dog who is showing you weakness in spirit and mind, that it might not produce or it won't produce great dogs. Don't assume that. If the genetics that is in that dog, right? But that dog's spirit is weaker or mind is weaker than other dogs that you like to see, then believe in the genes. Believe in the genes. The spirit of a dog, that's an individual. The mind of a dog, that's an individual. Real talk. There are people in the world that are built phenomenal, built for like super athletes, but mentally and spiritually, they don't reach their potential. But their body is built for the shit. But they just ain't got the mind power and the soul power to be able to exert that, to maximize that genetic potential. That's a fact. Same thing with dogs. Same thing with dogs. And being that we are depending on the genetics to show us, okay? Let God put that spirit in that offspring that you produce. And then based off of that spirit that's in that offspring and the genetics, then it's up to you to tune it up. It's up to you to tune that dog's spirit up, tune that dog's mind up to make it feel and understand that, you know what, you can be the best. I put it in you, be the best. You know, you're confident because I'm confident and I believe in you. And I'm going to show you how to be confident. I'm going to put you around other confident dogs to make you be confident. Okay. You can learn. You might be slower, but I'm going to work with you. I'm going to figure out what makes you tick and talk, and I'm going to make you tick and talk. I'm going to make you work. And then you do that shit. And the dogs do it. Like I say, I had to figure that out by default because I have so many dogs. I can't give them just my undivided attention. Only time they get my undivided attention is when I give them their little 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes max of yard time. That's it. Other than that, it's a group thing, but I understand how dogs work. They work like that in a pack. They're in a group. And because of that, I have a large pack and I am the alpha. They all feed off of me. Then they duplicate my energy and then they feed off each other. I just learned that by default. So you got weaker dogs that act like they really with the shit. Because in their spirit and their mind, they adopted the pack environment. They adopted the pack spirit. They adopted the pack mentality, and they think they are the shit. It's amazing how it works. But, you know, you only know by being in the field with it, right? You only know this by being in the field. You can't assume this shit. That's how I learned it. I learned it by dealing with a whole bunch of dogs, seeing their personalities as puppies, seeing them grow and mature, and they adopt my personality, and they adopt each other. I see dogs that you would think that was weak when they was probably like, you was a little pussy. Now that motherfucker want all the smoke. Now that motherfucker might be small, but in his mind, he think he a lion or she a lion. I see that. I seen it. I see it. And it's amazing to me that I'm able to witness this, and it develops me as a dog man. It develops my understanding of how dogs work. And that's why, you know, we have these discussions on Thursday night. You know what I'm saying? I want to relay what I experience to you guys so that you guys can do what you need to do in y'all's field, right? In y'all with y'all's dogs, and then maybe take some of the things that you heard from the dog guy or you heard from the coach, right? And then you go ahead and apply like, damn, man, coach was right. Damn, I'm glad I was paying attention in class. I'm glad I was taking notes. I'm glad I actually applied the shit, tried it out. Damn, coach was right. Damn, I took this bitch I thought was a piece of shit, but she got the genetics. I better to this dog. Man, I produced some of my best dogs off this fucking bitch. Wow, coach was right. See? So let me give y'all a shout out. You know what I'm saying? Big J to Don, big salute to you once again. Pole position. Duracio, man. I appreciate you, man. Much love to you, family. Always, man. Appreciate your support and your consistency. Big Bill, man. Keep doing what you're doing with your dogs, man. I love your vision. I love what you're doing, man. Dogs are looking superb. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing you. Keep doing them dogs, brother. Appreciate you, brother. Live your life, dogs, man. Always appreciative, man, of your support. You know, like I said, I'm opening up the panel, the link. So I'm sure, you know, you're probably going to hop up on there, man. We'll have a nice little, you know, dog discussion, man. Whatever you want to talk about, whatever we want to talk about on the panel, we just going to freestyle this, you know what I mean? Just have some dog talk. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So big salute to you, Live Your Life Dogs. Rogue Wolf Project, man, LLC. Big salute to you, man. Thank you for showing up, man. I appreciate your support. Always. Royalty Methods, always, man. Big salute to you, brother. Big salute to you. Thank you for showing up. Appreciate your support as well. Big Show Nuff. Big Show Nuff. Hey, Show Nuff. I don't know if you're on here or not still. You know, you might have gone, but maybe you'll listen again. But I heard you on Buck City, man. You know, I mean, you got up on there, and I guess you was over there. You know, me letting Buck City and them know how you feel, man. I heard you on there, man. You know what I'm saying? You standing firm on your post. You know what I mean? Big salute to your Show Nuff, and I appreciate your support, man. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I know that, Thursday night, football night, college football night. So it's probably, everybody doing that and this and that and the third, which is fine. It's all good. But man, whether it be one person or no person, I'm trying my best to stay consistent, which I have. We can always hit the rewind button. That's what's good about these lives and stuff. You can always listen again, put your headphones on, man, do your dog shit, listen to some game, man. Listen to some of that good knowledge. And like I said, I hope you guys are applying this. And I hope that these things that we talk about is working for you, man. Because that's why I do it. I do it to give y'all some, some tips that y'all can actually use and be like, man, salute the coach. Coach ain't got to tell us this. Coach ain't got to give us this game. But he did. He does. And the shit works. You feel me? And that's what it is for me. Giving back to y'all so that y'all can get ahead in y'all program. You know what I'm saying? So big salute to y'all. I appreciate y'all support. I love you guys. Y'all be safe out there. Next Thursday, we're going to cook up. Make sure y'all here. But you know what? Your boy is out.